During Flight 19, we believe there were a few things that could have taken place that night. I will talk about them and which one most likely happened. So there had to be some sort of equipment failure or an outer worldly event, aka aliens. One of those two things had to happen for this plane to be just completely missing. Firstly, I want to talk about the possibility of this being aliens. This is a possible explanation because this happened in the Bermuda Triangle, which has been long known as one of the most mysterious places on the planet. And this happened in that area. The sighting and documentation of strange things happening dates back to Christopher Columbus coming to America. Back when he was traveling to America through the Atlantic Ocean, he went through the Bermuda Triangle, and in that area of water on in the Bermuda Triangle, he reported in his diary that he saw strange orbs flying in and out of the water, and basically was explaining extraterrestrials and what he saw. And this happened in the Bermuda Triangle all the way back then. So it's been happening in that spot for hundreds of years. And it gives valid background to this possibly being extraterrestrials. Now, one theorist, Charles Berlitz, wrote in his book, The Bermuda Triangle, that aliens could be responsible for the disappearance of Flight 19. Now, this is a whole book about that topic. So obviously there's some evidence behind it. This theory arose because of where the disappearance took place in the Bermuda Triangle, and because it seemed like there was no logical explanation for this happening, which pretty much led theorists to jump to the prediction of something outer worldly taking place. But we believe the more plausible explanation to Flight 19's disappearance was the subpar equipment they had. And back in the day, their equipment was not great, and it was not meant to go against. It was meant under perfect conditions, and that night they didn't have perfect conditions. One outcome could have been that due to them being lost, they ran out of fuel and just ditched their planes, and maybe ended up on an island somewhere, or their planes did the same. But there's zero evidence of this, so there's nothing to suggest that that happened. But we do believe that these trained pilots experienced equipment malfunction, and that is probably the most likely reason for this event. And one theory suggests that there was a faulty compass which was leading them into the unknown, ending up being completely lost. And that could very well be a explanation for this, is that they got extremely lost by some bad equipment and were not able to get their bearings back. According to flight leader Lieutenant Charles Carroll Taylor, he states that at some point, either during the second leg or third leg, he became convinced that they somehow made a wrong turn. Now, obviously, we know that after this, something went wrong. So, there was a problem. There was a problem that was recognized, and there was a report, but there's zero evidence that tells anyone what actually happened. And the other piece that just makes this story just so crazy and wild is that not one singular shred of evidence was found from any of these individuals or their planes. And that's just weird. One reason we believe that no evidence was found is because the TBM Avenger, the plane that they were all driving, is extremely prone to exploding on impact in the types of collisions they would have been in, which likely would have destroyed any potential evidence, telling us what really happened to Flight 19. And it all adds up to the weirdness of this story, that it most likely was an equipment failure that led them to being so lost and disoriented. And it was a horrible weather night, so that was added in too. Now, lastly, Bryce will discuss why we believe that this is the most likely outcome. Thanks.